very appropriate to celebrate France's most recent national park. And it's dedicated to forests. Seemed like a natural subject for us to share quickly. This park is officially about 1 year old from November 2019 and is rather special because it's, first of all, this forested area has existed pretty much untouched since the Middle Ages, in part because the subsoil, the substrate and the soil in the area is not particularly good for farming. So it's been pretty much left alone to grow wild and to help with migrating species. And it has quite a few interesting plants and animals that are kind of unique to this particular area east of Paris, a few hours. So go to the next slide, Brian. All right, that one looks like it's showing up properly. Okay, so that gives you a pretty good idea. That little yellow box is the area where we'll see some data from Landsat. That is another way of looking at trees, especially trees going back almost 50 years. And so that is where we will zoom over to shortly. And just to give you a sense of where it is in Europe, not that far from quite a few other countries. So hopefully someday you'll get to visit. I know I'd like to. It looks like a special place. And we'll go to the next slide. The darker green outline area is the various parcels which form the actual Parc National des Forêts de Champagne et Bourgogne. You're not the only one who can struggle with a foreign language, Brian. And this is especially sad because French is actually a language spoken by several of my immediate family. So I'm very sad to, shall we say, not be so deft. So at any rate, that dark green area is, the box shown here is slightly larger than the area we'll see in the first Landsat image. On the next slide, the little scale bar gives you a sense of just how broad this area is. It's a pretty good sized park in an area that has some, transportation corridors and whatnot nearby, and we'll see some of that in the Landsat imagery. Next slide, Brian. So there it is in 1972. The total park, well, the total image area is about 53 by 40 kilometers. And it's a natural color composite because one of the 4 bands that Landsat 1's multispectral scanner collected was very noisy. So I had to play around with the 3-band composite to make this forest look green. The farming areas look oddly dark, and you'll see that compared to the next slide when we get a thematic mapper image. Next slide, Brian. In 1985. And so basically you can see the contrast between the farming areas, the urban, or the towns and villages through the area are really, really strongly highlighted here. And so it's just this marvelous, expanse of dense green coverage from August of 1985. And we'll jump ahead another 10 years or so to Landsat 7, 2002. There are some differences in the sensitivity of the natural color bands between Landsat 5 and Landsat 7. And basically you can see some slight changes in the color of green. The lighter color green is areas that have been harvested for their timber. So while this is going to become a park, it is supporting the local economy throughout this entire time frame. And we'll jump ahead one more to the most recent image. And you can see quite possibly even more of those lighter green areas within the denser dark green area that becomes the park in November of 2019. So there is a small chance that someone studying this area would be able to document that the harvesting of timber sort of accelerated as the park became closer and closer to becoming a reality. And that is the nature of humans living with their ecosystem. There is this give and take. But we'll summarize the story here, I think, on the next slide. Yeah, there we go. France's 11th national park, 3 hours east of Paris. A unique lowland leafy forest ecosystem. I'm really sorry I haven't had a chance to get there, but maybe someday. 50 million trees, 240,000 hectares in area, and the goal being sustainable tourism, at least before the COVID crisis hit. It'll be hard to say what the impact is on the park, just like it's been hard to predict what the impact has been on us taking new data sets. But please take a look at some of the websites that are shared here, and take a little virtual trip to eastern France and enjoy the fact that a new national park has been formed, focusing particularly on a forest. So I think that's all I have to share, Brian.